Hello mech fans and welcome to the Valhalla Club. Grab a Fusionaire and join us as we talk Battletech and the latest happenings around the Colorado Battletech community.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Valhalla Club. I will be your bartender tonight, Dave Cerberus. With me, we have Ben, Matt, and Mike. We hope that John will be joining us a little later on. We had to start our recording a little out of sync because currently I am on the other side of the world in Oman.
You're so cool, Dave. You're so cool.
You're so cool. Enjoy that fine life.
So on tonight's episode, we'll be discussing the GenCon event that just happened and Ben was able to go to. And we'll also be talking about our upcoming events here in Colorado of Tacticon and Battle for the Sphere. So to start us off this evening, we're going to go through the pile of shame and games played. So Mike, why don't you lead us off?
Pile of shame maintains, as always. No painting progress. Actually, it got worse because while Dave's gone, I have his resin printer and I'm printing things. So I'm learning 3D printing, and I'm making more gray, and I'm not painting gray. So that's cool.
This is a wonderful and terrible thing.
Yeah,
it's both of those. It's wonderful and terrible.
It's wonderful and terrible.
I just got mine
freaking
reset
cool.
up. Yeah, I just got mine reset up yesterday, and yeah, I'm already terrified at what I'm about to do. So yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So I guess initial report of pile of shame maintains was incorrect. Pile of shame grows. But that's it for me.
All right, Matt, what have you been up to?
So finally got all the paints out of the boxes and stuff. All the minis are back in my face, so pile of shame is present and accounted for. Has not decreased at all. It has increased by a couple of minis. What did I get in? Finally got in the Kellhounds box, so that was nice. I got in one game, a quick Alpha Strike game with my sons here, and we may have recruited one young man to play some Battletech with us here in small little Gunnison. So hopefully, little by little, we'll work on the western slope here. It'll be good. So we'll see what happens. Not much right now, but more to come.
And so the indoctrination of Gunnison begins.
Let it begin.
That's awesome, Matt. Good for you, man.
It'll spread like a disease.
More herpes.
All right, Ben, I think you probably have the most pile of shame growth.
Actually, no. I did not buy a single mini while I was on my little trip here. I actually traded away some minis for random things, too. So it's basically staying the same. I did get the Nighthawk Battle Armor based and painted up before before GenCon just to do it, and then I settled on a paint scheme, and I've got a base coat down on about 10 units right now. So that's kind of where I'm at. John and I managed to get a couple of practice rounds with my GenCon list in last 2 weeks or 2 weeks ago, and that's about it for me. And of course, GenCon.
Yeah, and for myself, a lot of what I haven't gotten a lot of painting done, but I have been printing like a madman, getting ready for a Battle for the Sphere. So far, I've got an entire box full of tanks and about 56 tanks and probably 20 mechs printed at this point. And as Mike said, he's taking up the torch to keep printing things for our preparation for Battle for the Sphere. But most of my hobby progress has been reading. So I finished reading Marauder, and I am currently in another book. Let's see which one it is.
A book, but we don't know what it is.
Well, that's because Flashpoint. So I'm reading Flashpoint right now.
Oh, that's not bad. No,
nice.
I'm trying to get through the Civil War books while I'm over here in the desert. So I'm going to try and knock out all of those so that I can get a better understanding of what actually happened in the Civil War versus what I think happened in the Civil War.
That's fair enough.
But no, as far as the only painting I've actually gotten done was on some D&D minis that I printed, and those have been pretty fun. I'm using them to get better with speed paints, and I will say that I like the Army Painter speed paints a lot better than the Citadel. What are they?
Contrast paints.
Contrast paints. So I think the Army Painter paints go on better and have better color than the Citadel contrasts. So I don't know if I could call it a pro tip, but go with Army Painter. Plus droppers are easier to use than pots.
Heck yeah.
Fact.
Yes, they are.
So that covers us for the pile of shame. And moving on to the main medal, we have the Battle for the Sphere coming up in September. But prior to that, we have Tacticon coming up next month, around August 23rd. So Matt, take it away on what's happening at Tacticon so that people know before they go to sign up, or if they haven't found out, they can sign up and go enjoy some of the events that are out there.
And he says next month, but he means this month because it's August already.
It's a thing. Yes, so August 24th to 27th, that's a Thursday through a Sunday. We've got Tacticon here in Aurora, kind of east of Denver. So if you're in the area, or for all those that of our Colorado listeners, you guys should come because there's going to be plenty of BattleTech action going on. Especially if you're newer to the game, I'll just kind of run down what's going on Thursday. I know Greg W's got some space reserved just for pickup games, so if you're already buying a ticket, you're in the area for Thursday night, come out and just play some pickup games. Friday, we've got a whole grundle of Alpha Strike Megatech. So Megatech is a couple of the guys have printed out massive mechs. I don't even know at what scale, but they're probably like 10 to 15 times larger than the minis we have. And
I think they're way bigger than that. I think they're about 300%. I think the Atlas that they have is about just under a foot tall.
Yeah, they're huge. They have like to move them, they have like this little holder and everything. And so they're basically doing kind of beginner, but also if you just want to go play with them, they're doing Alpha Strike Megatech on Friday. And then that'll be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's basically hour slots. And then on Friday, late afternoon, early evening, I'll be doing something. It's not quite put together yet, but it'll be up on the website in the next couple days. It'll be probably some mix of Classic and Alpha Strike or something like that. We'll see. We're just going to play with it and have fun. So that'll be Friday evening, and then Saturday I'll be running what's called BattleTech Through the Ages with the Alpha Strike system. So basically we'll be starting in I believe it's a clan invasion, and we'll be going through 4 different eras. In each era you'll kind of modify your force, and you'll be fighting different scenarios against people. It's kind of a semi-tournament thing. It's not a strict tournament, but there will be prizes for wins and prizes for exceptionally awesome moments. Headshots, DFAs, all the fun things we truly enjoy and yell at each other about. So there'll be some swag, some fun stuff there. Also on Saturday will be Megatech, but with Classic BattleTech, and that'll be from 9 to 4, I believe, again, 1 hour slots. On Sunday, Jeremy's going to be running a campaign called Outworld Waste. That's a Classic BattleTech campaign. And Braden is going to be organizing some Classic BattleTech deathmatch in the afternoon from 12 to 8. So there's a whole bunch of stuff there. There may even be even more kind of pickup games as well. It's a great time. It does cost a little bit to get in, but basically all the events are free. It's just you have to pay to get the pass to get into the event itself. Otherwise, should be a good time. It's at now I should have had it up, but it's at one of the hotels in Aurora. It's where we had, and I can't remember the name of the last, what was the name of the last one we had there? Remind me, Dave. GenCon? No, Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same place we had Genghis Khan, and run by really, a great crew of people, but they're really, really trying to highlight BattleTech at this one. So we'd love to have as many people out as possible, and I promise if you come to my event, I'll make it worth your while. So come and have fun.
The Hyatt Regency.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you can just, if you Google Tacticon 2023, that'll get you there the quickest, I think.
Yeah, I just Googled Tacticon Colorado, and it was boom, straight there.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. So Tacticon Colorado, because there is another Tacticon that happens somewhere else that's happening in September.
Okay.
So Tacticon Colorado.
I've also posted the links up on the Facebook page as well as the Discord. So if you need to look in there, we've got resources and connections there. If you have any questions, shoot them to me. Let me know, or whoever's organizing the events. Should be a lot of fun, though.
Right after we finish Tacticon, we'll be rolling straight into Battle for the Sphere, which will be happening at Hobbytown in Westminster in Denver. Well, Westminster, on September 23rd. And for those of you that have been around for a couple of years in the community, we hold this every year. It is a beginner-focused event. We touched on it a little bit last month, but Battle for the Sphere is designed to be an introduction and an intermediate event for players to come out, get exposed to the game. If you have friends that have not played but they might be interested in it, bring them out. And we will have a lot of different tables set up. We will run the event in 2 sessions. So the first session will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the second session will be from 2:30 to 5:30. Now, we're going to have a lot of tables set up. There is no real... We'll have a sign up, but there will be open play tables. So feel free to just come on by whenever you have the time, or if you want to be there the whole day or for just one session, that's great too. We do plan on having 5 tables for 1v1 Classic, 5 tables for Alpha Strike, 3 tables for open play, a couple of tables for the Wolfnet 350, and Alex has graciously agreed to bring his grinder table up to Westminster so that we can set that up. For those of you that haven't played a grinder before, it is a hilariously fun. You bring 3 mechs. When your mech dies, you bring in your next mech, and it is almost like a small escalation map, and you're just pounding the living crap out of each other, and it's a really good time. For the details on the classic tables, they will be 6,000 BV 2.0, 225 ton limit. We will be using the everything except experimentals. We will have pre-printed forces. So don't feel like if you're a new player that you have to have minis to show up. We will have more than enough set up for the tables to use. But if you do want to bring your own force, just follow the rules that we have set out in the event document, and we will get you on a table and get you playing. For Alpha Strike, it'll be 200 PV, 100 ton maximum for individual units, unit skill between 2 and 4, and only 1 variant per chassis. And in keeping with the new player focus, neither Classic nor Alpha Strike will be able to use alternate ammos. So again, we're keeping it pretty simple so that we can generate really positive play experiences for all the players that come.
I feel like this 100 ton maximum is for a certain subset of players, perhaps on this call. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, I'm the one that wrote the rules, so I'm not bringing the Ares.
Oh.
But this will be a Civil War event. So all the mechs that you choose for your forces from the master unit list will have to come from your favorite faction in the Civil War. Most of you that have played know how to do that, but if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask us in the in the Battle for the Sphere chat channel on the Colorado Battletech server, and we are looking forward to having everybody out there. Now, one of the fun things that we're doing this year is that in addition to the Battle for the Sphere games that we're going to be playing, we are running a Solaris 7 style single elimination bracket tournament, the Golden Derby. Now, you heard about this a little bit last month, and the Golden Derby is going to be for, I mean, if you're a beginner, you can certainly play in it. If you are intermediate or an advanced player, that's what it's designed for. But I have no doubt that someone who wants to come in and play in the Golden Derby will have a great time. Now, this event does have an entry fee. This entry fee is 1 mech miniature. So whether it's 3D printed on a base, an official CGL model, or an Ironwood Metals model, that's what it'll cost to get in. So we're doing this so that we can have a separate prize pool for the folks that are playing in the Golden Derby. And the details of the Golden Derby are that each player will bring 1 mech or omni-mech from the Solaris 7 Civil War era faction list. You can bring 2 mechs, but only if you bring the 2 urban mechs that are on the Solaris 7 Civil War MUL. So if somebody really wants to have some shenanigans, bring your 2 Urbies. The BV limit is going to be 2,300 BV 2.0 for the single unit, or 2,300 for the two urban mechs, which anyone who's played urban mechs knows that's totally possible. Your pilot and gunnery skills will not be separated by more than 1 to a maximum of 4 and a minimum of 1. So you could have a 3-4, a 3 gunnery 4 pilot, or a 2 gunnery 3 pilot, or a 1 gunnery 1 pilot. But you can't have a 0 skill or a 5 skill in any of either of the 2 categories. The limitations are no custom units or named variants, and no quad mechs, which I believe were too early in the timeline to get quad mechs or quad Vs. Let me go back. I need to fix that in the rules. The only limitations will be no quad Vs or lambs. So no land air mechs or quad Vs. We're a little early in the timeline for quad Vs, but there might still be a few lambs hanging around in the Solaris 7 lists. We did have to not really ban, but just say that these mechs are not allowed off the Solaris 7 lists for a couple of reasons. Mainly it's the equipment that they carry, the Flashfire FLS P5, the Werewolf WER LF005, both the Aqua Gladius 3 and 4, and 2 of the Hachiwara variants, the HCA 4T and 4U. The reason for that is because they have some pretty ridiculous weapon systems on them that it was felt that they would generate negative play experiences, so we wanted to eliminate those so that we can have a really great experience for everybody. Alternate ammo and physical weapons that are in the Battle Mech manual are completely allowed. So you'll have to be careful in your mech selection because their claws are not in the Battle Mech manual. So there are a few Solaris mechs out there that have claws. If you bring them, you will not be allowed to use the claws. So be mindful of what you are taking and pick a mech that you're going to have a lot of fun with. Design quirks will be in play as they're listed on page 82 and 89 of the Battle Mech manual. So those of you that pick a low or minimal profile mech will benefit from the glancing blows rules. So urban mechs, something to think about. But yeah, there's a PDF document that is going to be up on the Golden Derby channel that will give you all of these rules and set you up for success. And Once you have picked the mech, there will be a date in the document of when you need to submit that mech by so that it can be validated and we can get you on the bracket roster. But yeah, it's going to be a really good time. The reason single elimination is because we want to make sure that when you play in the tournament, each game will take about an hour to an hour and a half that we will be able to... We're not going to keep everybody hostage all day that is playing in the Golden Derby. So you'll have your chance to play, and then if you win, fantastic. But if you don't, you can go as far as you can in the tournament, then enjoy the rest of the event. But that is the Battle for the Sphere 2023 and the Golden Derby. Oh, and by the way, there will be a fantastic Golden Derby trophy for the winner. So we look forward to having everybody at these events, and we are hoping that it's going to be a really great time.
I'll say, too, for the listeners that are not in Colorado, we'll throw the event documents on the podcast server in the event document channel. So if you guys want to steal these ideas and run your own events wherever you may be, feel free. That's why we post them, to make things easy for y'all. So, yeah.
Speaking of which, there's this podcaster tournament happening on MegaMech, and I wanted to hear what happened in Mr. Dave's match, because it sounds like it was interesting.
It was very interesting. So on the podcast Discord, we obviously have a lot of the other podcasts who have booths in the Valhalla Club, and I came up with the brilliant idea to challenge everyone to a single elimination bracket, podcasters versus podcasters. And
it's using the same rules. Yeah, it's using the same rules, right, as Golden Derby?
No. So Golden Derby doesn't allow for modifications. We went ham with modifications on the Mega Mech tournament. So my mech, which was the Honey Badger, was a... I say was in the past tense because the Honey Badger got smoked. Was a Charger 1A1 with all of the small lasers removed and replaced with medium pulse lasers. So I had 4 medium pulse lasers. I added a hatchet. I added mask and a supercharger. So this charger could run 16. And I went up against Aaron. No, not Aaron. It was Brent from O-Man. And on Mechs and Men, or of Mechs and Men. And we fought on the King of the Hill map in Solaris. And I got the first shot in. He brought his Marauder 5D with 3 large pulse lasers and 2 medium pulse lasers. And I ran right up on him in the first round, got a quick hit in, missed with my hatchet. And on the round 2, he moved away from me, and rather than trying to get the quick kill, I decided to give him some breathing room, and that was the mistake that probably took the game from me.
You're trying to get the crowd amped up, right?
Trying to get the crowd amped up.
Yeah.
But I declined to take second back shot with my charger, and he in turn greeted me with 3 large pulse lasers and 2 medium pulse lasers, and didn't do any critical damage to me that turn. But what it turned into was a bit of a game of cat and mouse, where he was keeping distance on me, and I was trying to get to him, and I got a couple more good hits in on him, but at the end of the day, he got an engine hit on me, and I think he took out my supercharger, and then it was just downhill death from there. So he got me, and it was a great game. We ended up playing a couple more games, and the second game was probably the most hilarious because my mask failed and I fell down, and the supercharger failed and I fell down, I got up and I fell down. And it was just a hilarious, just fish flopping on the ground of an 80-ton charger. And he won the second game, and then we came back for a third, and I actually won the third game. So great job to him. Brent kicked my ass, and it was a good time. So props to him. He was the first game in the tournament. He is now into the second bracket, and he will be fighting against Matt, who fought against Nate from Bungle Tech.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Tac Ops Jungle, very, very different, very interesting. It soaks up tons of damage. Any of the forest soaks up, like the light forest soaks up 60 damage, and the heavy forest soaks up, I don't know, close to 100 damage, like 90 or something. And I think, not knowing that when before we were going into this, we were going to have this jungle soaking up everything, and it was all over the map. So we were pretty much in it the whole time. I had heavier weapons. I was running a Hercules, just because, who runs a Hercules? No one. So, and he was running a Jenner 2C kind of modified. It was just all streak 6s, maybe 2 or 3 of them. And the problem is that the jungle, in Tac Ops jungle rules, it soaks up 2 points of damage for each thing that hits. Lo and behold, SRMs, 2 damage each. So basically, if I was in the jungle, I was pretty much protected from anything. Once we actually realized this, like 5 rounds in, what was actually happening, I tried to go outside the jungle a little bit more, but eventually he actually put some crits on me, and so I wasn't moving too much. I had an engine and a gyro crit, just a attack, a through armor crit. So he got lucky that way. But eventually I blew his leg off. I hit, all it took was hitting with a couple weapons, and once his leg was gone, it was pretty much over. So it was a learning experience with how kind of Tac Ops environmental stuff and terrain things work. So it was interesting. Nate was a great guy, great match. And I'm looking forward to my match with Brent, although I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to these maps. They're interesting.
So for the maps we chose were all from the Solaris 7 maps that are in Megamech. So I went through and picked out all the
crazy
Solaris
ones?
7 maps. No, I didn't pick out the crazy ones. I just picked out the Solaris 7 ones. So we had the jungle, the pool, the factory, the Coliseum, and I believe King of the Hill. So all those maps are in a set, not rotation. I rolled the maps prior to starting the bracket, so everyone knew what map they were going to be fighting on. I think the Tac Ops rules got everybody a little bit, so that was pretty fun. But we will be running another one of these once we're finished that will be open to all of the listeners. So come start making your mechs, have a good time, and we'll post the rules of how to make your modifications, and you will be able to hopefully fight against some of your fellow listeners and maybe some of the podcasters. So, kill your favorite podcaster.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, folks. I'll be taking over for Dave. He had to go do some army, whatever. I don't know, whatever the hell he does. So his overseas thing. So I attended GenCon. GenCon was this past week, August 4th, 5th. What day is it?
Literally to today, right?
Yeah, to today. Yeah, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of August. So I don't know, man. I'm still trying to recover right now. I just got off the plane like 5 hours ago. So,
champ, you're a champ, man.
Oh man, it's been a rough friggin' week. So yeah, I flew into Indy on Wednesday morning. Got to hang out with the family a little bit, and then met up with the crew where I was staying at an Airbnb with all the WNRP guys, all the Armor Up guys, and
was this like titled Frat House on Airbnb or something?
It basically it was a retro warehouse for large groups. I think we had 14 or 15 people staying there.
Could have called it the factory, maybe.
We might as well have been the factory from Solaris, man. It was pretty sick. So we kind of just hung out and linked up and got everybody kind of settled a little bit. We went down to the convention center Wednesday night, and some of the guys had to go to a demo team meeting. The rest of us just kind of hung out and just kind of got eyeballs on some things and figured out where parking was and stuff like that for Thursday. So Thursday, convention opened on Thursday, basically. First thing we did was hit the vendor hall and Catalyst booth, which was
huge.
wrapped around. Yeah, it was pretty big. It had a pretty big footprint. The line was so long to get in, they were giving tickets out
for the Catalyst booth.
For the Catalyst booth, because they could only let so many people in at a time. Just because it was such a it wasn't a confined space, but it was like it would have gotten mobbed and something would have gotten knocked over, and cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So they were giving tickets out. So me and Charles and Bloodbath from WNRP, we kind of grabbed tickets, and they were like, "Hey, just take a ticket, and you can stand in line if you want, or you can walk off, and then whenever we get to your number, if you show up to the front of the line, show us your number, and if we're past that number, you go right in," kind of thing. So it kind of allowed us to kind of just take a ticket, and then we just went and wandered for a little while. They said it'd be like 30, 45 minutes or whatever. So we wandered over to the Iron Winds Metals booth, and they had released the Jade Phoenix, the Assault Omni from the Falcons. Is that it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Too bad John's not here to rant and rave about that.
It's true.
So yeah, they released the Jade Phoenix and the Mastodon in metal. Well, I guess there's no plastic form yet anyway, but they released them in metal, and so those were like sold out by noon, I think. But then they restocked, and they had them every day available. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so we were just kind of browsing a little bit. I kind of control myself discipline and not buy any more minis until I at least get at least a quarter of my pile of shame done. So
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, look at you, man.
I've got a lot of shit coming from the Kickstarter. So
don't we all?
I'm trying to make some things happen before that happens. But so then we kind of moseyed a little bit, just saw some random stuff, and then wandered back over to the Catalyst booth, which I think they were on like, I think my number was 77, and Charles and Matt were like 76 and 75 or something, and they were like 71. So we just kind of hung out, and you can just jump in line if they hadn't got your number yet. So it's kind of like a Southwest Airlines kind of thing. So we got into the Catalyst booth. The only they had the Alpha Strike Commanders Edition, or Alpha Strike Commanders Edition, 6th edition in print. So, and those were sold out, and like they only brought like 50 copies, I think.
Oh man,
they got it sold out. I don't know if they were available later on. I didn't want to buy a book that I'll take the errata and wait for the 10th edition to come out, and then I'll buy that one. in 3 or 4 years when that happens.
Yeah.
So it's been updating so much. That's why I bought my 5th print through Catalyst Direct, so that when they update it, I can get the PDF update for free. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 6th edition is out now, which includes all of the last set of errata, I believe. Or no,
and that was a lot of errata.
Yeah, there was a lot of errata going on there. So I don't know if it included all that stuff. I haven't done a comparison. I haven't had time to yet, but I'll get into that when I grab the PDF at least. The only 2 major new items they had hats with faction logos on them, which they had all of the 5 great houses. They had the original 4 original invading clans, Ghost Bears, Smoke Jags, Jade Falcon, and Wolf. and they had the Wolf Dragoons, and that was it, I believe, for the hats. So I would have bought a Fed Sons hat, but it was a yellow hat with a Fed Sons emblem, and yellow does not.
You didn't want to
go
look like a
well.
McDonald's employee?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Kind of a weird color choice.
Yeah, well, they had. Thought about getting you a Americat, Matt, but it was like purple. It was a purple hat with the emblem on it, and
well, they're very
I didn't think it matched your eyes.
Very proud of their purple.
Well, the purple's supposed to be the emblem, not the background color, right? So you got to have like a black.
Yeah, it was almost like a maroon color with the purple American Eagle on it.
Oh, that's weird.
It's like a purplish maroon color. So I'm sure they'll be available on the Catalyst store eventually. But,
yeah, I assume so.
And then the other thing they had was faction mugs.
That seemed to be the hit of the
to be the big hit. I know they had all the faction logos plus some of the other clans that were out there, plus like the Republic of the Sphere. They had GDL, they had Kellhounds, they had Hanson's Rough Riders, which of course I picked up a Rough Rider mug.
Oh yeah,
had to have that. So. So then we kind of, after we kind of finished up the vendor hall, we wandered over to the CGL area of play, where I know I went to GenCon in 2020 just for a day, and they had about 20 tables going in 2020. They had like 50.
Woo.
I mean, there were like 10 tables of grinders alone. Plus they had about 10 or 15 tables of like feature events going on. They were random events. I know one of them was the Zeta Battalion versus a bunch of Wolf Empire dudes. Kind of a little narrative game that they were playing. There was that was the only one that really drew me in because the mechs looked phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So based off the photos I saw, their footprint looked huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very large footprint. I mean, it was like 10 grinder, and the grinder tables were always full. They had a painting table where they were teaching people how to paint. They had boot camp for Classic. They had boot camp for Alpha Strike going. It was just, and the tables were pretty full all day long. So that was really cool to see.
That's awesome.
That even the boot camps were just solid. Solid bodies coming in and out. And I actually went down there Thursday afternoon and just sat, and when I was just like kind of watching and seeing what the flow looked like and seeing the demo team kind of do their thing. So that was kind of neat. And then we grabbed some lunch and we went over to the JW Marriott, which is connected to the convention center, where they have like a huge ballroom set up for just open gaming. And it's just tables and chairs you can roll in, claim some stuff, and start doing stuff. So a lot of us kind of went up there, and then we put the word out. We were all going to be up there doing some casual play and stuff like that. So a couple of 350 games going, some lift testing and that kind of stuff going on. So, and I think we were there till midnight Thursday night before, they shut down at midnight. So we rolled out. It was midnight when we rolled out and got back to the house, and then we stayed up till like 3 a.m. drinking. So
perfect prep for the tournament, right?
Oh yeah, it was rough. It was a rough tournament day just because I think I got like 5 hours of sleep. Oof. And then we were up at 8 moving out.
That's a standard day for me, man.
I know.
That's just like LVO. Like we stayed up late as shit, drinking, shooting the shit. Went to bed super late. I slept on that couch and then was down in the tournament a few hours later. Like, that's a convention standard when you're hanging out with all of us. Yeah,
I think definitely Friday night or Thursday night. I got like three. Me and Charles and Jason Hansa were talking until 3:30 in the morning, and then we got up at 8. So like 4.5 hours sleep. And I was sleeping on the couch with Aaron on an air mattress right next to me, basically snoring away. Well, Thursday was cool because I mean there was just a lot of meeting and greeting going on. I hooked up with the of Mexican Men dudes, Brent and Aaron, which are super solid dudes. They're so much fun to hang around with. And then Kanan showed up a little bit later, and Kanan is hilariously fun to be around. He is so cool. So that was really cool. And of course, I mean,
I feel like
Chandler
I
and
need to
Mario,
say this rules.
dude, it was a lot of let's go going on.
Let's go. Yeah.
It was so good.
Love it,
So
guys.
good. Yeah, they were great. And then, of course, Chandler and Mario from Armor Up. We've hung out with them a lot of times, and they're really really good dudes. Derek from On the Origins of Battle Mech showed up late Thursday, but I can't remember if I linked up with him then or on. Yeah, I did link up with him. So we were chatting a lot on Thursday. What else was going on? Couple of the Catalyst guys came up to the Marriott. Some of the freelance writers, and we were just kind of up there hanging out. We did a little free for all, 2 units of 75 PV free for all kind of thing, where Brent Evans and Andrew from WNRP and a couple other guys. I mean, it was crazy. So it was a good time. So that kind of led us into Friday of the tournament. Oh, back up to Thursday. Coach and Andrew and Tommy from WNRP all had to work the booth for a couple hours because they were demo teaming some things for everything. So they had to kind of do their time in the pit. And
Gotta pay the taxes.
They got to pay the tax man, you know. And so it was funny because they had Coach working the grinder table at Classic. And as we all know, Coach is not real strong on the Classic rules sometimes. It's been a while since he did some Classic, and so I'm over there kind of giving him bad advice and just to kind of irritate him a little bit. And it was just really just to annoy Aaron. So that's the only reason. So Friday we rolled into the tournament for the Alpha Strike 350 tournament, and we started with 35 players, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw on the list.
Yeah, it was 35 players. So the first day was going to be 5 games of Alpha Strike 350, and then at the end of the day, they took the top 8, and they were going to play 3 games the next day, while everybody else who didn't make the top 8 could play in the doubles tournament. So the first game was Bunkers, and I played Kevin Bushido Witt, which was a lot of fun right off the bat. And he had a pretty stout list of I want to say it was some Ghost Bears, maybe. But we ended up kind of playing a very strategic game. He was a really good dude, really good player. And I think he beat me 2-1 on objectives. And I don't remember what the MOV was. But he beat me on that one. The next one was I played Derek from On the Origins of, and what the hell game was that? Was that Stand Up Fight? I think that was, no, that wasn't Stand Up Fight. That was something else. Headhunter. No, I kind of remember.
It all blends together.
It all blends together. But Derek and I played a really good game. We had a lot of fun. He ended up. Oh, it was Capture the Flag. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Because the last round, he had picked up one of the flags with a heavy hover transport and sprinted it back to his base, but he couldn't drop it off.
Yeah.
He sprinted, and then I had landed a sprint scout on the other thing to capture the flag, and he jumped a axeman over and hatcheted my sprint scout on the ground. And he needed like 10s to hit, and he got, or 9s or 10s or something like that. And he had been rolling pretty crappily just his dice went cold all day, and for that, or at least for our match, and then that was the one thing that he was wanted to do, and he got it, and it was great. I was shocked he got the 10, but it was phenomenal that he hatcheted the helicopter underground. So that was really cool.
So like I said, the dice tell the best stories.
They do.
You never
and
know.
We'll talk about dice in Charles and I's match because there's a whole story that goes on there.
There were so many custom dice there. I believe it, dude.
So Derek was running a Waco's Rangers mercenary group.
Oh, that's right.
Which was hilarious because
That's dope.
we were all trying to vote for his paint job just so that Andrew or Aaron would have to say the Waco's Rangers. And he made these little patches that had the Waco's Rangers symbol on them, and it says "Death to the Dragoons" on it. It was phenomenal. It was great. So,
that's hilarious.
So
Full
really
tilt
cool.
on the theme. I dig it.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And then my third match was against a guy I wasn't familiar with. His name was William or Bill Hegg, I think it was. Really fun player. He had a Ghost Bear Force or Coyote Force. It was Bluebacks. I remember that. I think it was Coyote. Really painted up really good. He was from local in Indianapolis, so he was really cool. We had a lot of fun. We played Hold the Line, I think. It was Hold the Line, which is the 3 tokens and stuff like that. You got to go pick up. And I think we just ended up beating the shit out of each other the whole time. So that was a really interesting game. But Bill was a good player. He ended up making the top 8 for the tournament, so that was a lot of fun. And then my fourth match was against Charles Gideon, aka Luke Dirt.
How can you not go to a tournament?
I know.
You don't say. You've never played him before.
Mike said it on the Facebook page. He's like, it wouldn't be a Wolfnet 350 tournament if Ben and Charles didn't play each other. So,
that's true.
And I meant it.
Yeah, it was. So it was good. Charles and I had a very scientific game. It was Headhunter, and he had a Capellan Force, which I've played several times already in our playtest.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about? It was the first time you've ever seen it.
I know, right? I had to play dumb. But we did an experiment of I could only use Wolfnet dice or some other brand of dice that weren't Valhalla Club, and he could only use Valhalla Club dice, not any Wolfnet dice, and whatever name dice he had. And the Wolfnet dice did very well against him, and the Valhalla Club dice did not hold up against me. So. I want to say the Valhalla Club dice like our podcast better, as long as we're not rolling them.
Sorry, Charles.
At one point, I got a picture of it too. I'll put it in the chat. But there was a point where he ran a Stinger over to my heavy LRM carrier, and I moved an Atlas and base to base with it, and I punched it to death. And it was.
Did he not listen to Of Max of Men? Dude, every Stinger pilot dies, dude.
Exactly. Never take it.
It was great. It was great. So it was really cool. It was a fun game. We had a lot of discussions about rules and how they worked, and we'll have to have some discussions with Kestrel on clarifying some things, just because words have meanings. And then the last game was me and Sam from LVO.
Oh, cool.
So she came out. She was running a mercenary list, and it was King of the Hill. And as you know, Mike, how we play King of the Hill, everybody gets in there and just beats the shit out of each other.
That's how it's supposed to be.
That's exactly what happened. I think at one point I had an Atlas, a Cyclops, and a Penetrator on the Oat, and a Hatchet Man that was running around clubbing things. She
I think Sam brings heavy stuff, right?
Yeah, she had an Atlas, a Ymir, which was cool to see on the table.
Oh wow,
Well, that's dope.
that's cool.
A Heliopolis.
Whoa, she's going full proliferation there.
Yeah, and then she had some. She had a arty infantry unit, and she had another big mech too. It was an Axeman. It was an Axeman.
Okay.
So we were both very brawly, and I ended up taking the win on that one. So I ended up going 3 out of 5 in wins for the tournament and placing 14th. So out of 35. So I was.
There you go.
I'm a middle of the pack guy. The funniest thing was Mario trying to run a mech list. He's so used to tanks.
I didn't see, like, he was like down in 10th or something. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, he's so used to tanks, and this is. I'll put it up in we'll put it out to the public because I thought it was a funny thing. I'll put it in Bourbon's Meat Hall. There we go. So you can check that out. That's what the Atlas and the Stinger. But everybody can check that out. But it was really good. It was a long day. I think we finally finished up the last round. You see that?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
It kind of makes sense. I mean, from what I've seen, Mario's the tank man, but never seen him run too many mechs.
It was great because Thursday night he was kind of testing it against Tommy, and he's like, "How do I do an anti-mech attack? What does that mean?" He's like, "I've never done one before." what do I do with can I do a physical attack with a mech and stuff? So it was pretty funny. So yeah, I think we finished up about 8 or 9 o'clock with the tournament, and then we tried to grab some dinner. And of course, Indianapolis is fun during convention, trying to find places to eat and whatnot.
Good luck.
Yeah, so we ended up back at the house with all the crew, plus the Mexican guys, plus Derek from YouTube. I did get to see Brent. I finally got to see Brent from YouTube in person,
nice.
Which was great. Really solid dude. And he was doing a bunch of other games, so he didn't stick around, but he did drop by the tables and say hi to everybody. So that was really neat. And then we had another fun filled late night that went till about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then with a turnaround of about 3.5 hours of sleep, we were back at the tables on Saturday morning with the top 8 going and the doubles tournament. And we had 6 or 8 teams in the double. I think it was 6 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Six teams, so it was 12 people. No, it was more than that. I think we had 5 tables on doubles, so it should have been like 14. I think 14 people played in doubles. I don't know. My math is not working correct.
What is it? What even is math?
I don't even know. But doubles was cool. I got paired up with Jeff, who ended up taking last place in the tournament. And he got headshotted 4 times during the tournament.
Holy smokes!
That is rough.
So he was a trooper, man, and he didn't drop out, and he was a fun guy to play with.
That'll put anybody in last place, no matter how good your list is, dude.
And so we got paired up as a team for doubles, and he was a fun guy to play with, man. We were having a blast. We ended up playing Jedi Mech Warrior Bob, and I can't remember the other guy's name that was on Bob's team. And you guys know the doubles. Matt, you didn't get a chance to play at LVO, but it's 2 sets of scenarios.
Yeah,
at the same time.
The same time, and so that first one was Domination and King of the Hill.
What?
It was a pretty brawly match. I think we whittled them down pretty well, but we took some casualties along the way. And but we ended up scoring all the objective points. And I think we ended up only doing like 4 turns because you guys know how long doubles takes. It takes a while to get through all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. And then Jeff and I got to play Tommy and Matt from WNRP. So and that one was hold the line and capture the flag at the same time.
Oh, that's an interesting combo.
Yeah, so that was pretty fun, and we ran into a little conundrum with the rules and battle armor mounted on a unit when the unit gets destroyed and damage applying and everything else. So I know we're going to be talking about that a lot. So yeah, we finished up that tournament. Jeff and I came in first place for the tournament, so it was pretty cool that Jeff got to coming in last place on the singles tournament, and then coming in first on the doubles tournament. So
that's awesome! Congrats!
So it was a really good time. It was a really good time.
And those trophies looked pretty legit, man.
Yeah, they were. They were pretty cool. So Jeff got to take the trophy home, and he earned it. He earned it. So it was a good time. But it was really cool. Charles put together a bunch of little certificates for all the players on the singles tournament. And obviously, the war crimes, most MOV, Warrior's Heart. Jeff got the Warrior's Heart because he was the guy that was in last place after kind of a crappy day for him. And he still didn't drop out, so he stuck it out. So it was pretty cool. There's about 4 or 5 other little certificates he gave out that were really neat. I think it was a good addition to the, the top guys kind of thing.
I like that.
We started the war crimes moniker at LVO, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Because he was serial killer. Because Charles did this.
I did that.
Most MOV.
Yeah, you came up with serial killer for it.
I caused that. Oops.
Mm-hmm. So it was a really good time. Saturday. God, that was yesterday. I barely remember it. Yes. We just kind of ended up back at the house, and we're just kind of hanging out, discussing everything that happened over the last few days. And then we packed up, and people started rolling out early in the morning on Sunday morning. So I think Charles was the first one to roll, and got to the airport, and then he had some travel issues, and so I believe he's finally back in Colorado as of now, finally. So.
I mean, I think that's Charles's thing. 2 things. He plays you, and he can't get on a flight without there being a problem. So
Right.
Someone buy the man a beer.
He needs it. He needs it. But all in all, it was a really good event. It was a really great time. And I think everybody had a lot of fun. I mean, it was great to see that, Battletech at GenCon is such a huge draw for people. And I mean, I think Metal Ed said Metal Ed was running the Alpha Strike boot camp, and he surpassed teaching 500 people Alpha Strike in boot camp. So
dude,
that's pretty slick. It's really great.
Well, wasn't it during Gen Con that list came out from the spring sales number, and Battletech is the 3rd most popular miniatures game, non-collectible miniatures game.
Yeah, and that's great. So, it was really cool.
We're here, dude.
We have a big footprint right now, so it's definitely happening. So, all in all, it was really great to see and kind of put a lot of faces to the names from Discords and online and stuff like that, and just see the presence that is happening there. And didn't really have a lot of problems or anything like that throughout the day. So all in all, it was a good event.
Was the inflatable Irby up the whole time?
Yeah, it was.
We didn't have a weather fall.
No, we didn't. Weather was really good. A little bit hot, but that's Indiana in August, so nothing new there.
So is Gen Con you would recommend to people here in Colorado, recommend to listeners in general, or
so
what do you think?
It depends. We had a long discussion about this one night over some bourbon and other assortment sort of drinks. And it really, in my opinion, it comes down to what you are looking for in an event. If you want to strictly go to play BattleTech, you can do that at GenCon. You can do that at Adepticon. You can also do that at LVO, where there's not a lot of other stuff to do, kind of thing, So if you're just looking to go and play one type of event the whole entire time, LVO would be my suggestion to do that. Now, if you want to go and get a mix of everything, you don't want to have your whole 3 or 4 days kind of bogged or time taken up by one type of game. Gen Con's a place to go. You will have free reign to do any type of game you want out there, and the vendor hall is ginormous. There's every single game manufacturer is pretty much there. So if you want board games, you want RPGs, you want dice, you want clothing, you want art, you want to talk to writers, you want to do whatever you want, Gen Con's a place to go for that. So it really boils down to what you want to get out of it. But all in all, I mean, Gen Con is a phenomenal event. It's a huge space. You can see it all in one day, but you're going to be tired. You're going to be really tired. So Gen Con's a place to go and kind of pace yourself a little bit. That's the marathon, the marathon event. So, but yeah, I think, for those of you that I did end up running into, I had a couple guys, I was wearing my jersey on Thursday for the club, and I had a couple guys come up like, hey, I listen to your show, you guys are awesome, kind of thing. And there was 2 guys that I linked up with that they were from Colorado and they never heard of it.
Oh,
so
really?
And they didn't have a dedicated group or anything like that. And one of the guys I talked to for a good 15 or 20 minutes, he's from Denver. And he's like, where do you guys play at? I'm like, oh man, we're playing at Westminster on Friday.
Everywhere.
Tuesdays at Heart of Gold or at the Wizard Chest.
Wizard Chest, yeah.
You want to go to Longmont? Randy's running stuff in Heart of Gold on Wednesdays. I mean, there's stuff going on every day of the week if you want to get into it. So he's like, oh man, I didn't even know. I think he ended up joining the Discord in Colorado. So,
cool.
So it was really cool. It's a good time to go and meet people from all over the country. All over the world, really, because we had some guys that were coming from other countries as well.
Because it's a good thing I put Colorado on the sleeve of them jerseys.
Right. And they were like, hey, I know that. Yeah. So it was good. It was really good.
That's awesome.
Really good.
Awesome. Coolio.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here? Oh, well, look. BourBen again.
More. Let's continue talking about booze, sir.
More of the man.
Is it time for the drink of the month?
Hey all, this is Ben here, your BattleTech Master of Spirits. Get your mixers, liquors, shakers, stirrers, and strainers ready as we cover this month's BattleTech Drink of the Month.
All right, folks, this month's Drink of the Month is brought to you by Vita Orange. And I want to give a shout out to Mr. Brute for turning me on to this one because I don't know if he developed it or what he did, but he gave me the recipe for it. And we did a few of these, and they are pretty tasty. And so if you know anything about lore or anything like that, Vita Orange is mentioned in a couple of places in the early books about a replenishment of electrolytes for mech warriors. So it's not a sports drink, though. in the real world, it's not a sports drink.
Yeah.
BattleTech still has it as a sports drink, but
if it was a sports drink, it'd be way less cool.
Right. So your Vita Orange recipe is 1 ounce of Deep Eddy orange vodka, a half ounce of triple sec, a splash of OJ, topped off with tropical Red Bull, and it's a shot.
I mean, you had me until the Red Bull, but it still sounds good.
It's pretty tasty. It's pretty tasty. I think Mario and I ended up doing about 3 or 4 of these things and trying to get the recipe right, but I think we got it down, and it's pretty good. So
So you're saying this one is okay without more bourbon? Is that what
It is.
Is
It
that
actually is. I'm going to
Whoa.
go against the grain here.
Whoa.
I'm going to go against the grain.
The
You know,
first drink
and
we've had for a premiere episode that doesn't actually need change to be good.
right. It's well, I leave it up to Mario, man. He put it together, I think, and you know, he's got a good palate when it comes to alcoholic things. So, yeah, it's pretty good. It doesn't need any more bourbon or any bourbon really.
And that's not on the list, obviously, of the stuff
It's
you
not
have.
on the list
Because
it's not on the
it
list
tastes
at all.
good. Because everything on that list is pretty much terrible.
It is. It really is.
As we keep trucking through it, well, I'm sorry, as you keep trucking through it, because you're such a good man for doing this for everyone.
I'm trying. I'm being the guinea pig for you. So
Yeah, it just goes back to what I was saying about once we finish all this awfulness,
we need to redo everything.
We need to change all of them, like not change the names, but actually make them
redo
good.
Yeah.
And when we get to that part, I'll be willing to assist.
All right, we can. I'm going to hold you to that because I don't know if I can handle all that responsibility.
That's fair. When we get there, we'll make it a team effort.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair. So yeah, it was. It's pretty tasty. I would not recommend more than 4 or 5 of them because you'll start to feel it real quick.
It's the orange juice. It hides everything.
It does. It does. So, Vita Orange. That's your drink of the month.
Woo! Okay, well, that's almost all of it, except, we talked about upcoming action with Tacticon and Battle for the Sphere, but I'll just kind of mention again.
Quick LVO plug.
Yeah, there we go. Las Vegas Open coming up in next January, and it's kind of weird to be talking about it this early, but it's not this early anymore. So we're into August. The tickets are already available for purchase, and the details are still forthcoming, and they'll be up pretty soon here, the full player packet. And I know because I'm in charge of the whole deal for LVO. So there will be both Alpha Strike and Classic Battletech events happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for LVO. The Friday events will be just single day events on both sides of that, and then the Saturday, Sunday will be 2-day events. Kind of one full day and then just a part of like Sunday morning or something like that. The tickets are kind of split up between Alpha Strike and Classic Battletech, and then if you just want to do Friday, you can do Friday for either of those. The Alpha Strike event for Friday only will be a WolfNet 350 event, WolfNet 350 Premier event. Hopefully we have the WolfNet guys out for that. If not, we will not allow Charles to go in a plane. We will take him in a car and take him to LVO again. Make him do that.
And Charles and I will not play each other either.
Yep, we won't let it happen.
We'll go into Cryodex and manually change that shit.
There is a manual setting, and we will play with it. So that'll be the Alpha Strike side. On the Classic side, it'll be similar to what we're doing in Tacticon with BattleTech Through the Ages. It'll be there'll be 4 eras that will be played, and between eras you'll be able to modify your list, but it will all be from one faction. And the eras have not been decided yet, but we may end up finishing on Ilclan. We shall see. I'll make that decision here in a week here. So, but if you do, and you choose Mercenary for your faction, there will be some limitations, because that's no fun just to have anything and everything. Gotta have some limits.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the Saturday, Sunday events, so on both sides, Alpha Strike and Classic Battletech, there will be a campaign in a day-ish. So BourBen here is going to be running one of those. On the Classic side, I believe is what we've got. Running.
I did some thinking about that, Matt. I think it needs to be Alpha Strike.
You're going to do Alpha Strike?
Yeah, I think it needs to be Alpha Strike.
So
because I want to have some big stuff going on.
Okay, Ben switching sides, but that's okay because It's not set in stone yet. So what it's going to be based on, both sides, both Alpha Strike and Classic BattleTech, are going to be based on Turning Point's manuals. So if you haven't seen these before, check them out on the Catalyst website. They're cool little manuals, and Ben has written one and coming out soon the second.
Second? Yeah, soon. I'm not sure when.
Perhaps soonish. Anyhow, so they're really cool. They're kind of a campaign, the story, the narrative, the forces all wrapped up into one. Really cool, and we want to put out this kind of narrative event to allow people to have fun. A little bit less pressure. It's not a tournament for this kind of longer time, but you get to really know your forces, get to really work into the narrative of it all. And then there is also another event on Saturday and Sunday, and this is BattleTech Escalation. So this is, if you want to experience all kind of what I consider the three major forms of BattleTech as it is right now. That's Solaris rules, Classic BattleTech, and Alpha Strike. So you will basically start with one mech in a Solaris match, and you'll go all the way up, kind of moving up in scale, till you'll have essentially a company or slightly more in an Alpha Strike battle. So it'll be an escalating between each scenario or mission. So it should be really fun. If you don't want to do the narrative stuff, there will also be that. Well, we're also going to try and have some smaller stuff. Maybe there's going to be time for pickup games. We should be able to have our space open for different things. Also, kind of connecting people for social events and stuff like that. Like Ben's mentioned for GenCon, that's a lot of what going to a con is meeting the other people in the community at large and really getting to know these people that maybe you listen to on a podcast or maybe you see them on YouTube or something like that. So we really want to bring in a lot of that stuff and connect people with the stuff that's coming out from Catalyst and all these other things. So should be a lot of fun. Details forthcoming. I might do a special like a mid-month on it once all the details are kind of finalized. And one last announcement regarding it. We have our Valhalla Club podcast 1 year kind of anniversary coming up next month. And for this, I am going to be sponsoring a painting contest. So no, you don't have to bring this in person, but the painting contest will consist of you putting in your best pictures. And this is any time up to the first week in September. So whatever that last Sunday is, the Sunday in the first week of the first week of September. You put your pictures up on our Discord, or you can even throw it up on the Facebook side as well. Either of those, put individual units, your whole unit together, all painted nice and crisp. Whoever has the best, I will do. You'll get one of two things. I'll pay for your registration for LVO, like your registration for LVO and any of the BattleTech events that you want to go to. Or we'll send you a lance or a star painted in your favorite unit scheme. So there's that. We'll post. I'll write that out. But you have until first week in September. Have fun, guys.
So you said Sunday, right? So that would be... Yep. Final submission date would be September 10th.
Sounds great.
Because the first Sunday is the 3rd, and yeah, we won't be alive by then.
Yep.
so it's really September 10th.
September 10th. There we go.
And those going to LVO, don't forget you need to get a convention badge, which the base is $25, and your event ticket. The Alpha Strike Friday only is $35. The weekend past Alpha Strike $70 because it's 2 days. So it's just 35 times 2.
Well, you actually get, so it's actually 3 days. You get a day for free. So this is what I talked to the organizer. If you buy that whole weekend pass, you essentially get your Sunday free. So
sweet.
It saves you some bucks. And actually, our events are kind of the cheaper end of all the events going on at LVO. In fact, we're like the second cheapest, I think, is what it was, something similar like that.
Outstanding.
So, yeah.
Cool. Another announcement. We are working on an event in December in Colorado.
Is that
probably going to be at Inconceivable Games in Castle Rock? We haven't decided on a weekend yet. and it will probably be a WolfNet 350 tournament, but there will be more details to follow.
Sweet.
More fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
I have an idea. I think I know.
You may know, Mike. You may know.
I may know, which makes me excited. We're still
hammering out
means
details.
Everyone
Yeah.
should be excited, but it's still a question mark with
Yep.
an asterisk.
Yes.
Exactly.
Sweet.
Coolio. I think that's it. Anyone else have anything else?
No, I can't think of anything.
No, I think that rolls us shout outs.
Let's do it. Mike, you're first on the list. So you have to go first.
It's because Dave wrote it.
You like two more.
Shout out for me is gonna be the Nate Meister from Bungle Tech. He interviewed me, which was pretty cool. So keep an eye out on the Bungle Tech podcast. He's doing a lot of interviews. But it was a lot of fun chatting with him. And yeah, it was a good time hanging out in the Discord voice chat. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Thanks for having me on. So shout out to Nate. That's me.
Cool. Ben, you're number 2 on the list.
So my shout out list got a little big. So first I want to shout out Travis from Aurora. He was the guy that I met at GenCon that was trying to find places to play. And he's in Aurora, so I got him hooked into, and he joined the Colorado Discord, so he should be rocking and rolling by now. So shout out to you. It was a fun chatting with you, Travis. The next ones I got are the players I played in the tournament, which was Kevin Bruschido, which we got some side discussions to have about that. And that was really cool. Derek from YouTube, Bill Hegg, Sam Knowlton, Charles Gideon, of course, and let's see, Kevin, Bill, Derek, Sam, and Charles. Yep, those are my 5 players that I played in the tournament, and also for Jeff, my doubles partner, Headshot Jeff, and just a really cool dude. And last but not least, to all the Wolfnet guys and the Armor Up guys and all the podcasters and content creators out there that went to Gen Con and got to meet and greet their fans, and especially Andrew and Aaron and Tommy for really putting that event together at Gen Con for everybody. It was a blast. I believe the players that played had a really good time. So that brings me to the end of my shout out.
Fantastic. Okay, so my shout outs are a little shorter, but and Mike already kind of stole my thunder because I'm going to shout out Mr. Bungletech Nate himself, because we had our podcast, whatever you want to call it, podcaster challenge match.
Solaris 7 Throwdown.
There we go. Thank you for that introduction. And no, Nate's just is a great guy. It was great to chat with him as we were playing, and he was a good champ even when he realized that his weapons were essentially useless in the jungle that we were playing in. So, no, it was great match, and had fun chatting with Nate. Great guy. I'll also shout out just the people that kind of keep pushing BattleTech to expand a little bit, and the authors and Catalyst and the people involved. And it sounds like, as far as Gen Con went, the Catalyst demo team really showed up and really helped out. So just all those that really put some time into what is actually a hobby, So, but it really brings people together and creates a good thing rather than some a positive experience for people in general. So I'm really appreciative of anything like that these days. So that'll be my shout outs.
Dave, shout outs.
All right, my shout out tonight is for Brent from Oman, because he was a great opponent and we had a lot of good laughs, and I can't wait to see the video of our podcaster tournament fight, because it was a hilariously bad defeat that I didn't take the opportunity to get the kill, and that cost me. So note to everybody, take the kill.
Okay. So that means it's at the end tonight. Thanks for listening to the Valhalla Club podcast, and this is the last call.
Last call. Shortest episode in like 4 months.
That's it.
Last call. Thanks for listening, guys.
And scene. Thanks for joining us today in the Valhalla Club. Special thanks to our sponsor, Ares Games and Miniatures. Ares is the premier online retailer for all your BattleTech needs. You can contact us at thevalhallaclub@outlook.com. If you are in Colorado, please join your local community group on Facebook and Discord. If you are able to help support your local Colorado BattleTech community, subscribe on Patreon to Colorado BattleTech. This Patreon account is used to supply prize support for local events and assist in venue costs. Links for the Valhalla Club Discord, the Colorado BattleTech Patreon, and Facebook group are in the show notes. Until next time, mech fans.